says no recording channels.
No recording channels. All right. Well. All right. Well, we're just gonna go live and get into this conversation with David. As you can tell, we lost everything, including our podcast camera, when we had to do a reset and a reboot. So I'm sure it's all here. But our camera up there is not on at all. So I don't know what's going on with that scenario there. But what we do have is still the ability to talk through our screen and our live app here on the YouTube channel. So we're just going to do that. And we promise we'll have the Gnarly Gnome back next Tuesday to make sure that we aren't going to run into any issues again. So if for anything else, we're going to go viral for being the worst freaking podcast on the internet. So there you go. Every week. That was good timing on that one. You cued that in just right.
You don't need those anymore.
Yeah, we don't need headphones and we don't need camera. We're just going to talk about this. So I can actually, I think what I can do is bring this stuff up and look at this on your Facebook page. So what is the Facebook page where people can go to see this report that you came up with?
On my Hudson Bronze
digital
page?
Yeah, so it's Hudson Bronze digital page. Now tell
on
everybody
Facebook.
A little bit about what Hudson Bronze is and what you do.
Thank you so much. So I'm David Bronze. I'm the CEO and founder of Hudson Bronze Digital. I've been in digital marketing now for about 11 years. And a couple of years ago, I went out on my own. And it's been just amazing, a wonderful ride. And I only focus on products that actually work. Over my years and years of doing digital marketing, I've sold over 35 different digital products. And I can tell you that really about only 4 of them work. So when I went out on my own, I wanted to make sure that I only offered those 4 digital products that actually worked.
So what 4 actually work?
So it's all about your logo, your brand strategy.
Right.
Then it's your website design, development, hosting,
right.
E-commerce if you are selling products online. The on-page SEO, the search engine optimized, making sure your website is optimized so Google and the other search engines can find you. It's all about reviews, making sure that customers see all your 5 stars. So I have a wonderful reviews management program. And lastly, Google AdWords. Google AdWords.
There you go. There is somebody here that I'm talking to.
Hello. Hey, everybody. And Google AdWords. That's once you've got a beautiful logo and web design development, you got to spend that extra money to get yourself out there with some Google AdWords campaign. So that's what I focus on, and my clients love me. I love them, and so I'm here honestly because you found that post that I put on your restaurant Facebook page.
So let's talk about that post because that was rather intriguing to me, given the fact that the majority of food truck owners are typically getting into the business and they're not really sure what the right move is. And so there's a number of choices out there, right?
Absolutely.
So there's Clover, there's Square, which are the 2 big ones. There's Toast. And I've been seeing a lot more food truckers commenting about Toast's capabilities and how they like that over Square or over Clover. But I'm sure they all have their own, benefits and features that are.
Have their own benefits and features.
So when you did your research, and I mean, obviously, why did you spend the time to do the research?
So one of my friends owns a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
And one day I was there and he just looked down. He was just looking like, God, this COVID, when are we going to get a break?
Right.
So I went ahead and, was on his website and saw that he is using a third-party ordering app as his
like
DoorDash
or
for online ordering. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, why are you using a third party and not tapping into your own point of sale system? And he's just like every restaurateur that's so busy running the business that he didn't have really time to stay on the phone for hours and hours getting answers to his point of sale system. So without telling him, I said, I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna take a peek. Oh, he's with NCR Aloha. Okay. So just on my own time, called NCR Aloha.
And what was that conversation like?
Well, it was a little disappointing, to say the least. NCR Aloha, at the end of the day, they said, look, yes, we've got online ordering capabilities. We just give you a nice little link that you put on the website, and it's synced right to our point of sale system. I said, that's excellent. That's a great solution. What's that cost? Well, unfortunately, there's programming, cost management, training setup, additional fees, roughly $3,726.41
For a link.
For a link. Not only that, the first 50 transactions are free, but then they start tacking on 51 to 100 transactions or 35 cents a transaction. It goes on and on. 25 cents for 101 to 500 transactions. Again, goes on and on and on. And then you also have the licensing fee you have to pay every month, which is $4.69. I said, hey, who's really got that laying around, that kind of money? Oh, no problem. We can put you on a payment plan. And at the end of the day, that payment plan, they basically kick it up to $5,000 all in if you go the payment plan route. So I was just very disappointed that, this huge company, NCR Aloha, nationwide,
right,
even larger, had that kind of solution, especially during this pandemic. Like, do you not have a pandemic solution? Like better pricing for these restaurateurs. Well, when I got that answer, I said, okay, well, I at least know that there's some other point of sale systems around this city that I've seen other restaurants use.
Right.
And you named a couple of them. I definitely reached out to Toast POS, Clover POS, Imagine POS, as well as Oracle Micros POS. And when I got that information as well, I'm like, goodness gracious, like, okay, I'm going to put all this information together. So the restaurateurs, the chefs, maybe have some ammunition now to call all these different point of sale companies and demand more. So
right.
For instance, the Oracle Micros POS, that was $1,200 to purchase the guest facing transactional licensing fee. Then you had to renew your licensing fee every year from anywhere to $250 to $600 a year. On top of that, you had to purchase the licensing to pay for the App Suite license, which is $175 a month. So you can then have a link on your website. Again, insane. That's a lot of nonsense to go through. And luckily, again, and please know, I do not sell point of sale systems. I do not do credit card processing. I literally I build websites for a living, and I wanted to make it easier for my clients to have a better solution for online ordering.
Right.
And I will say I did find some good luck with Clover, Toast, and Imagine POS. Basically, Clover was $50 a month, no money down, and they have a WordPress plugin that is seamless. It goes right to your WordPress website, and it's awesome. You stay right on the site. You're not bouncing away to a different link. Okay. It's a really slick solution. Toast, they were $50 a month. Again, no money down, and again, they had you give them a link that we put on their website. So again, that's more like it. $50 a month for a link.
Right.
Sounds great. And then lastly, Imagine POS. They had a setup fee, but typically they waived it because depending on the system you had. But really, again, if you did have to go that route, it was only a $200 setup fee. So again, way more reasonable. And again, a $45 a month, to have a link on your website.
So if I'm hearing you right, I mean, a lot of, let's say, just for example, food truckers don't have websites. Most of them will link directly to their social media Facebook page, or they have, some kind of GoDaddy, website that they didn't fully build out or really pay attention to, or this, that, and the other. And so they're utilizing these food truck apps in replace of this link from the POS system. But then they're running into the scenario where if they're running Square or they're running Clover or something like that, it's not all jiving. It's not all getting along together.
Correct.
And so that's where I think by having you come on and not only explain what you did with, the POS research, but also being able to offer your services to food truckers that want a more robust homepage. I mean, most of them don't need any more than, like I was telling you the other day, 2 to 3 pages max is what they're probably looking at.
Gotcha.
Most of them would get by with just a really dynamic homepage, landing page that would point people in all the right directions.
Yes.
And I think for them, that is sufficient because a lot of them just don't have the knowledge or want to spend the time on a website. Some of them will, some of them do, but the vast majority, I'd say 90% of the food truckers are just utilizing social media, and that's it. So I think by having you come in, kind of talk a little bit about what Hudson Bronze can do, to help them get past that. I mean, obviously, some of them have familiarity with GoDaddy, Wix, other ones. I mean, we tell everybody to use Wix because it's so easy to use. But some of them just don't want to mess with it. So what is it that you can do from that marketing standpoint? What is it that you kind of package together?
So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure the customer is getting a great first impression from day one. I always tell the clients, hey, you got to be digitally ready day one. You don't just jump and then later think, oh yeah, wait, we better have a better online ordering system. We better have a better first impression, because a lot of times you've already lost that that only opportunity to grab that customer. So I'm going to help you guys with your first impression. And that's making sure, again, if you need help with your logo creation, I do that. With your brand strategy, I do that. Colors, fonts, making sure we understand what you're all about.
Right.
And then again, once we got the logo creation, brand strategy, or if you guys already paid the money with somebody else to do the branding and the logo strategy, great, no problem. I want to make sure that our website is a fully functional, great first impression. So like you said, hey, they don't want to have the need for a huge 25-page website. Great, let's go ahead and create them a wonderful dynamic food truck first page, just a wonderful first impression, a nice little story about the business. Hey, we can have a pop-up. Where are you at that particular day?
Right.
It's going to be synced directly to your point of sale system. So again, it's going to be a way easier user experience, especially that folks know they're 25 minutes away from you. They place that order online. By the time they get there, boom, they're picking up their food already. So I'm able to offer a wonderful landing page that has over 175 different layout opportunities. So like I'll go with.
And it's predominantly it's on WordPress, right?
WordPress, only WordPress. WordPress is the way to go. It's so user friendly. It's very easy to make the changes yourself. Or again, you can pay me to do unlimited changes throughout the year.
Right.
And again, very inexpensive. So you said, hey, can you do us a favor for your food truck community? And we can do a $500 one-time fee for the build. And then if they want my ongoing service, it's just $50 a month for unlimited changes, daily backup, an SSL certificate, making you, just unlimited changes, daily backup, an SSL certificate, tech support. And if they have never purchased their URL, or if they'd like to have me host their URL, it's $16 a year for your URL.
Right.
And then with that, you get a free branded email address. So $16 a year, then we know where it's at. You don't have to later think, man, where's that email, or where's my URL hosted again? We can host that. What's great is all the work that we do, it's yours. You own everything. If you ever cancel on me or decide to just do it yourself later on, you're able to, just say, hey, Bronzy, I loved what you did for us, but we're going to go ahead and host that now moving forward. Great. Just tell me where I need to redirect it. A lot of my competition, unfortunately, they build just something like that, but then they own everything. If you are going to quit on them, well, I'm sorry, if you quit on us, we have to take down your site. And that's just not what we're all about. We're all about making sure you guys have a great first impression, a great resource as far as tapping into your point of sale system. And again, all of the stuff that we've done for you is 100% yours.
Right.
So again, like I said, $500 is the upfront cost. We build you a really wonderful dynamic website. SEO is included, so it'll be optimized perfectly, so the search engines will follow you or find you. Again, there's a pop-up involved, syncing your point of sale system, and at the end of the day, it's a gorgeous site, completely made to your branding. And then again, like I said, if you want to continue with ongoing service with me, it's just $50 a month, and it's month to month from the get-go. And again, we just do unlimited changes, daily backup, keeping your site secure.
If somebody out there is listening, tuned in, or catches this on the rebound, where are they going to learn more about you and see some of your work?
HudsonBronzeDigital.com, and pretty soon we have HudsonBronze.com. So they'll be, no matter how they type it in, we'll be able to track them down. HudsonBronze.com or HudsonBronzeDigital.com.
You're local here in Cincinnati. You're based over in Northern Kentucky?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I grew up on the west side of Cincinnati. I live now over in Alexandria, Kentucky.
Oh, shit.
I'm just on the other side. I'm over in Hebron.
Well, it wasn't bad. Not a bad drive here.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we used to go out for Mike Cisneros' annual get together for his passing, and it was always out at Alexandria Brewing Company. So I know it's a haul out there, especially on the way back after you've had a couple beers. That's why I let the wife drive.
There you go.
I think, at the end of the day, what I always want to share with my clients is, I truly do care. I want to make sure that they are successful.
Yeah.
So many times, again, they don't go through the process first, and again, I just talked it through, logo creation, brand guidelines, the website design development, hosting, the on-page SEO, making sure that you're found, and then the review program. My goodness, the reviews. I have an automatic review program that we could put a link on your website that says review us now. And if you click on it, it pops up a thank you so much for eating at C Cuisine.
Right.
We'd love to hear how we did. And if they give a 5-star, we allow them to go to Google or Facebook and leave a review on your preferred area. But if they leave a 4, 3, 2, or 1, we don't want a nasty review. So it pops up an email saying, I'm sorry we fell short. How can we improve your experience? So at the end of the day, that customer, you're getting in front of a bad review. The food truck knows they're about to have an upset customer. They can get in front of that. That program's, again, month to month, $105 a month to boost your reviews. One of my clients is Guthier Heating and Air out in Alexandria. Last spring, they were at only 5 Google reviews. This last spring, they were like a year later, they were at 102 5-star Google reviews. I mean, that's a game changer.
Right.
100 and almost 100 more reviews in a year's time, all perfect. I mean, they're pumping.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we're going to have here on this coming Monday's social media class, in particular, it's Facebook. Unfortunately, I personally don't like Facebook. So when you go onto my personal Facebook page, you don't see a whole lot of content on there. You don't see a whole lot of anything on there because I kind of stay off of it. But it is a necessary evil for business. And especially in the food trucking world, you got to have that. You got to have Instagram, not so much TikTok, not so much Twitter, not so much that, but you've got to have the two, which is Facebook and Instagram.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So they can all find me there as well.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of food truckers understand what LinkedIn is. I think a lot of them look at it as more of a professional profile than anything else,
Well, think of it this way. If they are trying to get in front of more businesses.
Corporate
businesses.
Correct.
That would be a great move.
Correct. And that's one of the things that we are going to be going over on Monday is that, look, this is not just for business professionals. These business professionals are here sitting in those offices up there that are ones hiring the food trucks into these corporate headquarters. So, it might behoove you to create yourself a little LinkedIn profile.
I agree.
And 1,000%. Keep it updated.
But please know, I do not do social media. That is not one of my services.
Right.
Early on in my Hudson Bronze career, we did go that route, but I really just never saw a great ROI for my clients. So I said, no, I think you guys, if you're going to have a social media team, that's what their specialty is, 100% social media.
Website.
You can't have, that's why in the past, when I sold for digital marketing firms that offered 35 different digital products, again, they did 35 different digital products,
Mediocre.
Right. So here I am just focusing on the 5 things that I do right, and I do them really, really well.
Awesome.
And you know what, honestly, that goes into one thing that I learned a couple of years ago. I was at a Procter & Gamble small business symposium. And, there was just so many invites, and it was really neat. And I listened to this gentleman. His name's Kip Knight, Senior Vice President of H&R Block. Besides that, he's ran numerous marketing companies around the world. He was a great listen to. So he gave a speech about the 10 things I wish somebody had told me before I started my own business. And at the end of the day, it's do one thing really well. Well, that's what we were just talking about, focus on either social media or do the things you do really well. Cash is king, learn cash flow. That's super important. Digital marketing, be digitally ready day one. So I love that he said that so early in his talk, because that's, what I focus on. Network. But, at the end of the day, I'm trying to do better, smarter networking now, not just going anywhere. I want to make sure that I've got a purpose when I go there.
Well, I don't know. You're here on our podcast.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad to have met you guys. I find a lot of value being here.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time and coming on with us tonight.
He also talked about go beyond what clients expect. Now I'm adding this. So years later, I want to add care about your clients. And I'll talk 1 second about care and experience, but know when to pivot. I think that's a big thing. Know when to cut your losses, take full advantage of being a small business owner, especially right now with the PPP loans, with the grants, with the disaster loans. I mean, you definitely, if you don't have a strong bookkeeper that's doing this for you, definitely you got to lean into that. And you can't do everything, so delegate as much as you can. And then lastly, enjoy the ride. So many business owners are so focused on the business that they're not really focused on enjoying being a small business owner. And when I added that care on lesson 5, I was at another event that they were, again, had an ex-P&G'er that left P&G, was super, super successful, and he came to give a talk. There was about 150 of us at this little event, and he gave a great speech. He gave a great speech about, being driven and being focused and all that. But at the very end of his speech, he said, now guys, gals, girls, everybody, I want to give you a secret. I want to give you a secret on how to never lose a client. I want to give you a secret on, our clients will love you forever. Do you want this secret? And everybody, again, I'm in my 40s. I'm 45. By the time I was, closer to 42. But everybody around me was easily in their 20s and 30s. So everybody's ready by their laptops, and they can't wait to hear this gentleman's words of wisdom. And all he said was the one word, care. Well, I sat back and I was like, well, no kidding. Yeah. You want to care about your clients. That's I'm old school, that customer's always right. That's me. But all of my 20 to 30-year-olds around me were taking notes like that was the best advice they ever gotten. So I thought to myself, Lord, if you have to write down that you have to care, I'm going to be in great shape that I don't have to worry about these folks. Yeah. So guys, out there in the food truck world, I promise you, caring about your customers, caring about the food product that you put out there, that's going to get people to come back to you. It's not all the marketing that you do. It's literally, are you caring about your product? Do you care about your customers? And then they're going to come back. So I think that's one thing that we can really learn about all these different talks that I've went to.
Yeah. So I want to kind of get back to the POS system reviews that you did. Out of all the people that you spoke with, in your opinion, what do you feel is kind of the best system that would be most conducive to a food truck out of the POS systems that you kind of looked at?
I mean, gosh, it really, like you said earlier, it depends on what they're truly looking for. But ultimately,
ease of use.
I don't think a food truck needs to spend $5,000-$6,000
No.
on a point of sale system. So goodness, if you can get, the Toast or the Clover or the Imagine, I mean, they were so much more price friendly. And I'm not early on, I'm looking to make sure that I'm keeping the money in my own pocket, so if I can have a great point of sale system,
Right.
like a Clover or a Toast or an Imagine, and not have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for the unit. I think a Clover unit, doesn't it go for like $600? And I think there's they even give you like a price point of like $50 a month to pay it off. I mean, that is very reasonable to me.
Right.
But I would definitely not want to spend, upwards of $5,000 for a point of sale system.
No, nobody would ever do that. But they all have this toss up between Square and Clover that they're all trying to make decisions on which one's the best for them. And honestly, I guess both of them have their benefits. And
How about this? I think a great answer would be, who's going to give you the best support when your system goes down?
Right.
Who can you get a hold of immediately? I got to tell you, it took a lot of phone calls to get back answers from NCR Aloha and Micros Oracle. I was able to get a hold of Clover and Toast and Imagine immediately. I mean, they answered, they called back a few minutes later. Toast answered right there, and so did Clover. So if I'm a food truck owner and I have my point of sale system going down and I don't even know what orders are coming in, I don't care then how much I'd have to pay for a particular unit. I want to know who's going to be there immediately that can talk me through how to reset my point of sale system so I can get orders cranking again. That's what I would want to know.
Did you make any calls to anybody at Square? Did you talk to them?
Well, unfortunately, Square is very difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah.
So I did not even waste my time. I've heard too many horror stories that their customer service to actually physically get somebody on the phone is nearly impossible.
We should try that one night here.
And again,
we should just pull up on the phone and just start calling them. And we'll just see what the prompts are.
You're definitely not going to get anyone at this time.
I truly, yes, I am a guy that will answer the phone. I love talking to my clients. I don't need a text or an email. Just call me. So that's what I want to have when it comes to my point of sale system. Are they going to answer the phone when it's crashed? Yeah. So I think that's the best answer. I don't care what you pay if.
So we can't run anybody through the call-in.
Not without redoing it again and restarting.
No. All right. Well, if you're listening, Mark, and he is because he asked if he could call in. Obviously, you can see how the camera is angled tonight. And the fact that we're not running through the the mixing board that we have set up, the Zoom board, we will take your call on this very topic next week. So he says he has experience with Toast and kind of disagrees. Would like to call in if you have a number. Normally we do. But normally we have the gnarly gnome here with us. Tonight it was just us. And unfortunately we did not do something correct. So we will fix the technical difficulties, and then if you would like to call in on next Tuesday, we will again be on some very similar topics. Next week is going to be about delivery fees, and we have a show that is going to be addressing all the third-party delivery services. So that's going to be a pretty heated debate. We probably anticipate quite a few phone calls on that show, both from, the company corporate side, as well as, some of the independents out there. We think we came up with a solution, for handling delivery, but we'll have to see if we can put that together or not. So, yes, we will take your call. It will just have to be next Tuesday, and I apologize for that. So I'm going to get back to David. So, in a typical scenario, I'm a new food trucker. I don't have a clue as to how to build a website. I want to come to you and get a consultation. I pull up your website, get your phone number, which we'll have a link on the program to all your information. So it'll be easy for people to find.
Thank you.
But what is the process? I mean, obviously if I've got 3 trucks that we're building right now. Not one of them has a logo. Not one of them has a website. Not one of them set up their social media yet. And I'm like, your truck's almost done. You really need to be getting on this stuff now, because by the time this is done, that should be done.
Well, I think the best place to start is their story. So content writing is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Telling your story, what you guys are all about. So true story. The reason why I went out on my own is back in 2017, we were pregnant. My wife and I were pregnant with twins. Not I was pregnant, but the wife was pregnant with twins.
We like,
we knew what you meant, man.
We know what you meant.
And it was a tough pregnancy, very tough. And at the very end, at 30 weeks, we lost the little boy, Hudson, and we had to get in there about a week later and save Emerson. So that was just a total crazy, horrible, and wonderful experience having my daughter, making sure she's alive, rushing her to the NICU, and then unfortunately having Hudson right there. It was horrible, but it was anyway. So fast forward. So we got through NICU. We had a great, experience with NICU. It was a wonderful, wonderful people. Anyway, when we finally got home and finally started healing and trying to help the family, so my wife said, quit your job. Let's focus on the family. Basically 7 months later, when the wife said, okay, it's time for you to go back to work. I'm tired of having you here at home. Right? Let me get back to work.
That didn't take long.
So
7 months.
She goes, but David, you love digital marketing. Your clients love you. I don't want you to just go be another salesman somewhere else.
Right.
I think it's time for you to start your own business. I think we need to name the company after our son Hudson, so it's his legacy, and it's finally our footprint that we can work on.
That's a great story.
It's awesome.
That's a great story.
That is truly that's what these food truck folks need to think about. I know they're very passionate about the food they're going to put out there, but why? Tell the story. Tell the story. Put that down. So I've got, the professional content writers that can help them tell their story. I like sharing that story. I didn't like sharing that story early on. I didn't share it for quite some time.
Right.
But we just revamped the website this year. So 3.5 years later, I said, okay, it's time to revamp the website, and it's time to tell the story. So we did share a little bit more on the website this year, or just this month. This month we finally got it back together. But anyway, I like sharing that story now because, again, then it'll motivate folks to make sure they have a great story and a great piece. So the answer is, where are they going to start? They're going to start by telling a story, making the clients connect to them immediately. Logo creation is a great step. That's great. So once we get their story, then we can feel like, well, okay, what are we going to go for direction wise for the logo creation? So we're going to help them with the logo creation, the coloring, the fonts and whatnot. So once we got the logo creation, the brand strategy down, then we go ahead and we got that awesome content that we now can lay in that content to the different layouts. And I have about 180 different layouts that I show them, and we make them specifically to them. So it's an easy process. They don't have to imagine how it's going to look. I've got so many different layouts that it's very easy for them to choose from, and then we make it their own.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the process. It's literally content creation, logo creation, the branding that goes along with the logo, and then the website design, development, hosting.
There's a lot of people out there to build websites, on the platform that you're utilizing. The one thing that I've always had an issue with that particular platform is the number of plugins and updates that's required on WordPress. It seems like it's almost never ending, that there's constant updates required. And so you're saying that as a part of your package scenario, you will do those plugin updates.
Plugin and WordPress plugin updates.
Yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
It's and honestly, they're doing that for security purposes.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's a very secure site. And what's great is they've got over 50,000 plugins. So if my customer comes to me and says, "Hey, I thought of
But
this
see,
great
to me,
idea,"
to me, that's like 50,000 opportunities for a hacker to explore how to get into somebody's website.
well, I mean, these are
I mean, I
very
know.
trusted
I know.
plugins that've been around for years and years and years.
I know. I get
And
it.
again, I have the SSL certificate, so it's a very secure site.
So what? Explain that to some people, because some people don't really actually know what an SSL certificate is.
A couple of years ago, Google said, "Hey, we got to make sure that we have secure sites." They're trying to crack down on more and more fraud out there. So they said, "Hey, I would like for you guys to focus on having a better, more secure host provider."
Right.
So every one of your host providers should give that to you for free. Like when you move your site, your WordPress site over to us, it just comes part of the hosting. I don't charge extra for the SSL. But it's definitely it's going to set you apart from your competition that still has an unsecure site. Google will rank your secure site higher than an unsecured site.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good option, I guess. As part of the overall fee that you're proposing to food truckers. So, I think that people should take you up on the opportunity. I think
I appreciate
I
that.
can't. I mean, I try to help them and build their sites on Wix, and give them a basic, 3 or 4 page site that's templated and do all the graphics and make it look pretty. But even that, if I were to charge them for my time, it's a part of their association, fee, if you will, with us. And that's something we do. I have, number of people who have quoted, way higher than that. So I think that's a pretty reasonable price that you're extending.
We normally charge $400 a month for
Right.
a website build, but that's a 25-page website.
Right.
So
yeah, and like I said,
when you came to me and said,
Yeah.
"We're just looking for a one-pager,"
right,
great. We will design a dynamic, beautiful, one-page, very engaging website
right,
that will sync your point of sale system, have the on-page SEO, and $500 I feel is very fair. And again, to have the ongoing support for $50 a month, I think also is extremely fair.
yeah. Plus branded email, that makes a big difference too.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I tell everybody to use Gmail because of the storage, that you get with it, and obviously, if you can put your name or your business in front of
So
it.
here's why you need to not do that in the future, please, because it's hurting them. If they use a Yahoo or an MSN or a Gmail or Outlook, whatever, and they decide to start an email campaign and blast all that out, they have a way better chance of their email getting to the send box if they have a branded email.
Mhm.
If they have an at and not just a Gmail or whatever, there's a very good chance that if they have a Gmail, all of those others could go to spam.
Right.
So that's why I always say, hey, and also it looks so much more professional when you're David at Hudson Bronze, or if it was David Bronze at Gmail. No, you're going to go with the guy who's branded.
Yeah. I mean, I think marketing's moving in a different direction. I don't think that many people are. I mean, yeah, if you look at your spam folder, there's probably thousands of emails in there, and I never look at my spam folder.
There you go.
So all these people that are doing all this effort in marketing on the email side of things, it's going right into spam. So, for me, it's like a waste. I think the wave of the future is going to be direct contact, which is text messaging. Everybody checks their text message when a text message comes in. It's just automatic, They just haven't broken through that security barrier yet to be able to do it in mass. I still get texts on a daily basis from things that I opted in to subscribe to, and I appreciate that because it's letting me know something that I care about, Fortunately, so far, it's been able to block just mass texts coming into my phone from, tampon commercials that I don't care about.
And that's how Guthier Heating and Air went from 5 reviews to 102. Every time they finished a job, they would send a text message using my platform.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for choosing Guthier.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that if you're sending a text to me after I've visited the food truck, oh no, I'm super impressed.
And I'll have that.
And I'm following and I'm
Yep.
engaged, and I feel a lot, but I like it. I like it when the Square recognizes me and I've never been to the food truck,
Right.
and then Square sends me a text with my receipt, and I like that. I mean, it's a little
Yeah.
creepy, but I mean, I know that I'm in the Square system.
Sure.
I get that and my card's in the Square system, which I get that, but it's still there's this connectivity. You said directly, and
Right.
that's where
Yeah.
I think the point is.
I want to make it as easy as possible
Yeah.
for that customer to leave a raving review for my customer.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but when he was walking down the street, it's like the ads would change on the billboards as he walked by to his personal preferences. You ever see that movie?
There's probably Total Recall or something.
Yeah, I was like, that's actually the future.
Sure.
It is.
Geofencing.
They just haven't figured out how
They're
to do
doing
it.
it right now
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
So, yeah, I mean, if you tell me that you talk a conversation about something, and if that shit doesn't show up on your phone the next day,
Yeah.
that's what's freaky.
That is the creepiness.
It's happening.
You're
That
just
is-
wondering who's listening to my
Somewhere
conversation.
You accepted it to listen in on your
Oh, I know.
conversation.
I mean, look at how many
Okay.
microphones we got in here. Not just the ones on the podcast. We got one on this computer. We got one on this iPad. He's got his iPad. I mean, everything. Like, we could start talking about some, foreign ass island somewhere and say we want to go there on vacation. And tomorrow
Next
that
thing
shit's
you're
going to
gonna
pop
have
up
a
on your
cruise.
phone. It'd be like, hey, $99 off your round trip airfare. So if you don't think Rick Brother's listening, he's listening to everything and everybody.
That's very
But it's the algorithms that's what impresses me. It's the computer that's behind those billions of conversations that's able to decipher that and redirect that to the proper advertising channel. That's, for me, phenomenal.
That's great.
I'm like,
Cool technology.
somebody really sat down and figured this out, and that's pretty creepy. I don't know if it's what's that massive HP computer what's the name of it? It was on Jeopardy.
Oh no, that's IBM. It's Watson.
Watson. Yeah.
It's
I don't know if Watson's behind that shit or what.
Maybe it
but,
is. Maybe it is.
it's pretty freaky that you can actually have a conversation. That's why I don't have any of that shit on at home. I don't have Alexis. I don't have, Google Home. I don't have any of that stuff in my house.
Nobody's listening to you, including Judy.
And nobody's listening to me. We got 10
Nobody's
microphones.
listening to you and Judy.
I
Nobody's
hope this
listening
is
to me.
recording. This is some good stuff. I hope we
Well,
are
we're on
recording.
here for sure.
Oh yeah, it's recorded. It's just not going through our mixing board. That's all. No, we like to kind of get down to the nitty gritty
You gotta plug it
conversations.
in here instead of in here.
Yeah, well, I guess we probably should have caught that at the top of the when we were 40 minutes ahead of
Yeah.
schedule. Well, we'll get it right one of these days.
Well, when you do, I want to redo. I want to come back again.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to have you back again. So I think we're probably going to knock off early tonight because of all the technical difficulties. We know that this is not recording correctly. But before we go, I mean, what else would you like to share with everybody that's tuning in? Because we get more listeners.
All 6 of them.
Yeah, we get more listeners after the fact, during the course, after, people download it, listen to it. So what else would you like to share with folks?
I think, gosh, when I first started working, it was McDonald's,
Yeah.
and I was 16 years old, and that's truly where I learned, customer service. That's where I was taught the customer is always right. I mean, I still
Right.
remember a day that a customer came in from the drive-through that was so angry that his hamburger was cold. He came in and he shucked it right at my chest and said the hamburger's cold. And he wants another one, and I right away said, "I am so sorry, sir." Absolutely, right away got him a warm hamburger. Thank you again. We'll do best. We'll do better next time.
Right.
And you try that again today in a McDonald's. Oh boy,
You get shot.
I'm nervous how that's going to go down in a
Yeah.
McDonald's
I
today.
think they're pretty much packing.
But I can assure you,
Uh-huh.
that's customer service. It
It has gone so
service,
far by the wayside. It's not
Service
even
with a
funny.
smile.
People don't care.
If you can make sure that you're.
What do you think about this whole? I mean, I think a lot of it is the hourly rate that you're paying people to be there in misery. I mean, honestly, let's face it. I've worked in a number of fast food joints, and it is misery.
Well, hold on. it's truly, if people would realize pay doesn't drive performance. Performance drives pay. If people learn that, they'll make way more money. But unfortunately, this day and age, they're going to do, I don't care if you charge or if you raise it up to $15, you're going to get the same amount of output that you've always gotten. It's just what I said a second ago. It's pay.
You think?
Pay does not drive performance. Performance drives pay.
See, I mean, I've always been of the mentality that if you pay somebody good money to, not only are they more inclined to be engaged with your business and what you're doing, I think they take more of an interest in it because they're getting paid well. I don't think if I paid somebody $8 an hour to work in the fabrication shop, I'm not going to get the same performance out of that $8 an hour person as me paying somebody $20 an hour, because they value their job. They value that paycheck. They value that being there and making sure that they're doing their job correctly because they're getting paid so well.
I think a thank you will go way further than a dollar raise.
Yeah.
Taking me aside, buying me a cup of coffee, saying how much they appreciate me in their business, and empowering me to take on more ownership, treating the business like it's my own. That's how you get more out of your folks. It's not about giving them $1 more. You got to empower them to be the business owner.
Okay, well, effective tomorrow, Britt, you are now a business partner.
You heard that. You heard it. You heard it. There he is.
I don't know. I got kind of mixed feelings on that. I mean, personally, I think people are underpaid.
You heard it. I got it all
recorded.
He's got it recorded.
It. Oh boy.
I think people are underpaid as it is. I mean, they cannot keep up with the rate of inflation. You know, the cost of living on, $8.50 or whatever it is currently now. You just can't live like that. You know, you cannot keep up with the costs and the expenses of everything in life on $8.50 an hour. And that's why people are getting up at 6 a.m. and going in one job and getting off at 3 and going to another job and getting back up and doing it all again.
How about it's also how you were raised? So when I was 16 years old, again, at McDonald's, I had an hourly rate of $4.30.
Right.
And I couldn't be more proud to put on that uniform, get there, make sure the customer's always right, mop, sweep, clean the toilets, whatever. I was so proud to work and to bring money home for myself.
Sounds like you were raised right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of old school. I mean, he's 45. I'm 52. You want to tell your age?
Oh, I'm 40. Yeah, I just turned 40. So.
It was just.
But I got that work ethic too. That's the thing.
We just grew up in a different time. We grew up when you could get your ass whooped, by pops. I
had groceries at minimum wage.
Yeah, you just take off that belt and you did something wrong. You did it, and you ain't gonna do it again. You can't do that nowadays. Now it's considered child abuse.
True story.
You can do it. You just
you can do it. You just
take chances.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a different time, And plus, I think the parenting goes a long way too.
I agree.
You can't stick a tablet in front of your child and call it raising your child. I mean, it just, they got to limit screen time. You got to limit, you got to get them out and be active and do different things and explore different things and allow that child's brain to develop outside of a computer screen.
Amen.
And people just don't do that anymore. The easy way out is just to give them a tablet or a phone, and it keeps kids shut up for hours and hours and hours. And that's all mom and dad want, time to go to bed, and it's crazy. It's like, no, let's you just went on a trip down to where? Louisville?
Lexington,
and then you brought your kids up here and you went over to, so it's like you're doing things, and getting them out, and they're not buried in front of a, computer monitor screen.
He still tries to stare at the phone, and my daughter has now got a phone, so she's still trying to stare at it too. But they look up a lot.
Yeah.
I'd have to remind them to look up a lot, but they look up.
Yeah. Well, I think that has a lot to do with it,
Amen.
So
No question.
I don't know, different times, I miss the days when we used to have to trudge over 2 miles to get to the bus stop in the snow. You wouldn't believe how long I had to walk to damn school.
Now they don't even go to school.
Now they don't even go to school. Yeah. I gotta sit at the breakfast table. Holy shit.
Yeah. Time to start school. Right?
That's funny. Well, I think you got anything you want to share tonight with us, Mr. Food Truck Britt?
No, I'll hold off till we get this all set up. But
The shipping container
we'll
thing.
welcome the gnome back here.
The shipping container thing you saw down in Lexington was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. We'll I'll try to get some pictures together and get those out on my site. Maybe send them over to you.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a rolling pizza kitchen oven. So a shipping container with the side of it covered in plexiglass or whatever, and a full-blown brick oven pizza or brick oven a pizza oven in the back of this thing.
But it was mounted to an old. What year was that?
An international. I don't know.
It was like 80s or something,
or 80s or something. But it was really cool. And I went into the brewery where they were making the pizzas. Basically, when they don't run the truck, they've got their little satellite pizza ovens in all these breweries all around Kentucky. And basically that's, the idea is they run the truck during the season, festivals and events. And it's definitely not a truck that you're just going to roll out through the neighborhoods with. Right. But it was really cool to see that. And then their concept being that they went into other people's brick and mortar, not their own brick and mortar, which is really cool to see. So yeah, I'd love to have them on the show and do a little talk about, what made them decide to go that route versus just opening their own pizza shops and stuff. So, but really cool people, really good pizza, for Kentucky pizza. It was really good. And I'm sure I'll get crap for that, but I made pizza everywhere. So,
that's funny.
But yeah, we'll get into some more adventures and stuff. But I do a lot of food truck adventures. I'll go out and just take off and go right or left and run into a food truck. And
you get to fly a lot too. So
buy something from the food truck for sure, and get a chance to talk to them. Hopefully, if they're not too busy. And here soon, I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with them as they call in, and we'll get a chance to showcase their business and show them off a little bit. And hopefully get them on this Foodtrucker Magazine podcast and calling in if they're out of town and coming in if they're in town.
So I know your dad's kind of into the digital signage thing, and we have them as one of our program partners. You want to tell a little bit about what that is and what they can do?
Yeah. Electro Menu is the product. It is the one and only full service standalone digital menu board system. It is an electro menu system, which is different from other digital menu boards. Most of them are subscription, web based. You got to be connected to the internet, all this other stuff. If you're not, then it just shows the same stuff over and over again. There's no real usability to it.
Right.
And a business owner can't just grab a keyboard and mouse with these other systems and just change things like a price or take an item off the menu because you don't have any more of it. With the electro menu system, that stuff is very easy. Literally stop, grab the keyboard, mouse, boom, pull it off of there, and it's done. You do it yourself. You don't have to call the Philippines or India or wherever to get a change made. And a lot of the customers, they love it. They love doing it themselves. They like showing it off. They'll send pictures of their menu boards because they're excited that they could actually do it themselves. And it's not hard to do. The user interface is super, super easy. I've personally trained a grandmother to do it. And so if a grandma can do it, then anyone can do it, including you, Tony. So, gotcha. No, but seriously, it is very, very, very user friendly, easy to use. And really the idea is to allow people to manage their own content and be able to do their own thing, how they want it to look, and not have to worry about templates and other things. There's a bunch of templates available for people,
right?
But you can start with a clean slate, blank canvas, as I say, and just start rolling with it. full animations, HD, 4K. They've got everything. They are actually the only ones that can put words and animations over top of pictures that transition, and that may not mean a lot to people, but those who it does mean a lot to, they can't do it with any other system. Meaning they could scroll a ticker across the video that's actually playing at that time. So a lot of the stuff you can do yourself with taking your own pictures of your food if you want to, and loading those into the system right then and there, and making it super easy to play. It plays on schedules as well, so there's day parts, and if you can't tell, I know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So
And there's different video screen sizes. So
yeah, you can use any size screen you want.
yeah, I mean, most trucks, they've got, some of them have the built-in shadow boxes, TV boxes that are used for, displaying whatever. Obviously, you could display the electro menu on it. And then other ones have, the external one where you can put any size TV on it. Now, we're building a trailer right now that they actually have a TV monitor on the outside, and it's I think it's set up for a 65-inch, up to a 65-inch. I think he's putting a 48-inch screen on there, but again, he's got to, come up with a thumbnail that goes into the side of the TV, and then he has to change the slides all the time. But
and that's where the system comes in. You can either go that route, which is fine if you don't want it to do anything, and if you want to have to change it yourself, which is not easy at all, and it does not happen in a matter of seconds or minutes. It happens in a matter of days or weeks.
I had it on mine.
And the other part is some of the media players have a tendency to fail, and what will end up happening is your beautiful looking screen that's playing on your thumb drive just doesn't. It's just at a read error problem. You're in the middle of your rush, you got a line, and the USB is having a little fit, or your power goes out on your truck, you get a little zip on the power, and now you're reset, and then it doesn't come up the way. And all of those little things they sound a little tiny, and so you got a whole line of people, and the one thing that they're looking at is your menu. So, some of these can be avoided with online ordering, but if they're standing at your truck and you got a black screen, or a screen that's refreshing, something like that, it's not going to work. So you want reliability, you go with what's going to be reliable. If you want basic and cheap, you go with a thumb drive.
So next week's podcast is going to deal with delivery services, third-party delivery services. Have you ordered, obviously, through like Grubhub, DoorDash?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your opinion about, the percentages that some of these companies are charging these restaurants?
Astronomical.
Well, first of all, how's the food taste when you get it?
And true story, yeah.
Every time I've ever got it.
How about this? Honestly, a lot of times if I'm going to do a carry-out order, I'm going to go pick it up myself. True story.
No, it's true. My wife won't. We have our favorite Chinese place that we order from all the time. And then if they're not delivering that day, because sometimes they deliver, sometimes they don't. She won't let me go through Grubhub or DoorDash. She's like, I don't know who the hell's getting my food.
And I live in Alexandria. A lot of people don't deliver to Alexandria.
Yeah.
So I have to, most of the time pick up my food.
I just can't imagine as a restaurant owner during a pandemic like this and relying on delivery to make up for the shortness of revenue in your brick and mortar sit down scenario, having to fork over up to 30%.
Again, that's why I had to call all them to see if I could do something for these folks. Again, nothing for it other than to give you guys ammunition to talk to your point of sale systems and say, hey, do better.
Yeah.
Give me a better rate.
Well, we're going to be discussing this next week. And,
That's great.
One thing we are on this program is brutally honest, and we don't really care who we offend.
We're not looking for product placements or
no, not really.
Sponsorships, but not from Google, Facebook. Who else have you passed?
Yelpers. So next week, it's going to be all the third-party delivery services. They're going to be like, "Wow, that's not really true." Yeah. You're like, "Bullshit."
Yeah, it is.
I got the receipt. You want to see it?
We're waiting for the food truck delivery crew.
That's right. Well, thanks. I appreciate you coming in. If we do have to do a retake after this is all done and we upload it again, we will definitely have you back. We will definitely do this again because it's been very enjoyable.
Yeah,
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to cut out 20 minutes early tonight. Hopefully you guys have gotten a little bit of information tonight to help you out. We're going to turn this thing around. We apologize for the technical errors. I think the gnome is was texting and typing over here, but obviously the computer was turned around, so I didn't see it. We will see you next Tuesday. Gnome, put it on your calendar. He says I've been talking to myself. Hey, we love you. We miss you. Now you know why we need you here. So hopefully you'll be able to put us on your calendar for next Tuesday. We were close, dude. We were close. We got a lot of it done, and some of it worked.
Well, we do
So
best we
funny.
can.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. See y'all. Peace. Take care of each other.